Hello everybody, welcome back to the Lime Show, and today I am going to be building with you a PC online. So the way this video and a few videos in the future is going to work is I'm going to build a PC based on different price ranges and ideas and themes, and I'll give you the total price, the wattage, and everything you need to know if you want a PC similar to mine. Now, let's just hop right into it. And the first idea I have in mind is to make the cheapest, but also a good PC so that it actually works well, but is also cheap at the same time. So for the CPU, I think we save the i9s and i7s and actually just go with the i5s, because I have an i5 11th gen and it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad because you also don't want too many cores. But if we just scroll and maybe find some, maybe we won't go with the i5 but with something else. So there's like this i9, i9, i7, i9, so many i7s and i9s, and finally we found an i5. Out of all of them, it's the cheapest at only $209. So we are definitely gonna go ahead and buy this one. 20 threads, 13 cores, that's cool. But here we are with the compatibility warning, as the CPU doesn't come with a stock cooler. But that's actually pretty fine. We won't need one. Now let's add a motherboard, and with the motherboard you don't really need to be that selective. But for example, this one, it may be a little bit too low end. Even though it's $99, it's still pretty good. It may be a little bit more low end than all the other ones, but since we're going for the cheapness and performance at the same time, more like balanced, I'm gonna go with this one because it's really not that bad. Now with the CPU cooler, it's best to get like a $24 one, but not only one, but several, instead of getting these like hundreds of ones that cost hundreds of dollars. Like, that's just unnecessary. We could save money on the cooler for sure. Like, let's grab this cooler, and I think that will be enough because our CPU isn't as powerful and won't need as much cooling. Now, I didn't really settle with a specific vibe, so I'm just gonna take the cheapest case and go, because that doesn't affect the hardware too much. Then the graphics card. Now this is hard because there are these RTX 4090s, 24 gigabytes of RAM, and then they're like 2.5K, but they're insanely good. But then we have the new RTX 50 series, and they're like 3 times as cheap, which is just insane. That's why 4090s are such a waste of money right now. But unfortunately, on this website there is no way to get a 5090. Therefore, it will be good to get one from a 30 series. And once again, that's something I have. I have an RTX 3050, and once again, it works really well. So the non-applicable price ones, they're not going to be really good for this video because I actually want the price at the end to show to you guys, so that you could like coordinate with what price will be beneficial for you. But out of what I'm seeing here, I'm only getting recommended these like Super and TIs and these 16 gigs, these jack dudes. Like, I don't need jack dudes, I need a shy RTX 3050. Now, let's just try and find it in this menu here. I'm pretty sure it has to be here. So there's the Quadro RTX 5000, 6000, 8000. They're good, but I mean, they're not that good. Just settle with the regular RTXs. See GeForce RTX 4090, GeForce GTX 1050 Ti. You're gonna find several of these, but here are the 30 series. Now I have a 3050, but if we want to make it better, I mean, this is not bad, but let's just make it a little bit better to have it like a 3050, 12 gigs. And oh, look what we have here. We don't have much of a choice. A PNY GeForce RTX 3050 with 12 gigabytes, and it's quite affordable. So let's go ahead and add this. Then we have the RAM. Now I have 8 gigabytes of RAM and I struggle like a lot. That's why it's best you get anything over 8 gigs. But if you want to keep it affordable, just settle with 16 gigs. You don't need 120 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, like, what supercomputer work are you gonna do that you're gonna need 256 or 128 gigabytes of RAM? Really, even for high-end gaming, 16 gigs is actually just enough. So this is the one we're going for. It's 136 bucks. Let's add it. Now, after that, we can add another RAM, but we already have one, and one is actually enough. Then we'll add storage. You don't need 2 terabytes. If you're going for budget in the first place, there's no way you're going to be getting 2 terabytes. Now, Seagate, not to offend anyone, but I never heard of that brand before. I don't know what this is. And judging by the fact that Samsung's, for example, it's $159, and Seagate's for twice the storage is $63, I'm starting to doubt them. So I'm honestly gonna go with the $160 1 terabyte SSD and hope for the best. So that's good enough. Now, a case cooler. We don't really need a case cooler, but it's good in its own way, so I'm gonna add it anyways. You don't know when you're ever gonna need it, so we're just gonna take it. Now, once again, we're gonna need a cheap one because there's no way you're spending much money on this. Like $7, if you're cutting costs too much, it's not gonna be good. So we're taking $17.97. This, like, it's not becoming cheap; it's becoming more affordable, you know. Then we have a power supply, like a. Okay, I'm not really that good with power supplies, but normally I just take one that has a brand I recognize, like Thermaltake. I recognize that brand. I'm most likely gonna take theirs, but of course it's always good to explore and look around. Like EVGA, never heard of that, honestly. Efficiency is 80 plus gold. Well, that's good, really good. And well, yeah, as you can see here, for $119, that's not bad. But really, we're cutting costs here. So I am taking this Thermaltake Smart 700 watts, 80 plus white certified, PSU, continuous power with 120 millimeters, ultra quiet fan, etc., etc. $55. Let's go. And just the monitor. Like, since we were only going for the PC, I think adding a monitor is also good because it's like a PC setup than just a PC. Now, Samsungs, do not buy Samsungs. They are just too expensive. I know they're OLED, I know they're fancy, and I know they have speakers, but sometimes you just don't go for them. But speakers are also good because if you get a monitor with speakers, you're gonna save yourself the time of buying more speakers later on. But if you're gonna find something with speakers like I just saw now, which I take back that it's bad, we are getting the ones with the speaker because that's gonna just save us so much money. Just unnecessarily buying the speakers when you can get this. Now, our grand total is $1.224K. Now, for a PC, I think this is very affordable, and considering that there are no compatibility issues and an estimated wattage of 195, I think if you get the setup I just got, you're gonna be very, very satisfied, not only with the price but with the performance considering the price. And I think it's a win-win for everyone. So this PC setup should be good. I will link all these components in the description for you to purchase. This was the Lime Show. See you guys on the next video.